All right, so next we are on page 284 and we are in lesson 4.4. We're just going to do a few more sample problems together for the guided practice. So multiply and then write each answer in simplest form. Number one, we have 1/2 times 2 3/8. And remember, anytime we have a mixed number, in order to multiply, first we need to change it to an improper fraction. So the 1/2 is fine as it is. So we'll copy that down, times. Now the 2 3/8, we need to change that so that it's an improper fraction. So we do that by multiplying denominator times the whole number, because that's 2 wholes. Each whole is 8/8. Okay, each whole is 8/8. So that would be 16/8, right? So 2 times 8 is 16, plus the 3/8 that we have here. So that's 19/8. And then we want to check and see if we can cross cancel, because that'll make our answer more simplified as we go. 2 is even, 19 is odd. They don't have any common factors, so we cannot cross cancel there. So 1 and 8 also don't have any common factors. So we just multiply numerator times numerator. 1 times 19 is 19, and denominator times denominator. 2 times 8 is 16. So we have 19/16, which means 19 divided by 16. So when we divide that out, we get 1 and 3/16. Okay, and then you can check and make sure you did that division properly by changing it back into an improper fraction. 16 times 1 is 16, plus 3 is 19, so 19/16. If you don't remember how to get from here to here, this is the step that we're kind of doing in our heads sometimes, but I'm going to go ahead and work it out for you. So 19/16 means 19 divided by 16. Okay, how many times does 16 go into 19? It goes in 1 time. 1 times 16 is 16. 19 minus 16 is 3. In elementary school, we used to say remainder 3. We don't say remainder 3 anymore. We say 3 out of, what were we dividing by? 16. So this will be 1 and 3/16. 1, because it went in 1 full time. Again, we used to say remainder 3, but now we say 3 out of 16. So 1 and 3/16. And if you can do that in your head, going from here to here, if you can do that in your head, that's fine. If you need to work it out, that's fine too, whichever way you prefer. Number 2, we have 1 3/4 times 2 4/5. So we want to change each of these mixed numbers into improper fractions. 1 times 4 is 4, plus the 3 in the numerator. 1 times 4 is 4, plus 3 is 7. So it's 7/4 times 2 4/5. So 5 times 2 is 10, plus the 4 in the numerator is 14. So 14/5. So before we start multiplying, because 7 times 14 is going to give us a pretty big number, we want to check and see if we can cross cancel, and we can. We notice that 4 and 14 are both even numbers, and we know that all even numbers are divisible by 2. So 4 and 14 are both divisible by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 14 divided by 2 is 7. So we have numerator times numerator, 49. Denominator times denominator, 2 times 5 is 10. Oh, and I checked, I'm sorry, I did check to see if there were any common factors in 7 and 5, and there were not. Okay, so we could not cross cancel there. So we have 49/10, which we know is going to be really close to 50/10, which would be 5. 50/10 would be 5. So 49/10 is just a little bit less than 5. Okay. So how many times does 10 go into 40? How many times does 10 go into 40? It goes in 4 times. 10 times 4 is 40. How many more to get up to 49? 9/10. So 4 and 9/10. And again, getting from here to here, if you're confused with that, I want to show you a way that you can always do that will always work for you. And this is a division problem. This means 49 divided by 10. So you can always just divide that out. 49 divided by 10. How many times does 10 go into 49? Well, it can go in 4 times. 4 times 10 is 40. And then I subtract. 49 minus 40 is 9. We used to say remainder 9. Now we say 9/10. So 4 and 9/10. That's a sloppy 9/10, but there it is. Okay, 4 and 9/10. And there it is neater. Okay, number 3, 1 2/3 times 2 4/7. 3 times 1 is 3, plus our 2 in our numerator is 5. So we have 5/3 times 7 times 2 is 14, plus the 4 in the numerator is 18. Again, 7 times 2 is 14, plus this 4 is 18. So 18/7. So then I want to look to see if I can cross cancel. 5 and 7 do not have any common factors, so I can't cross cancel here. 3 and 18, they do have a common factor. What are they both divisible by? They are both divisible by 3. Okay, 3 divided by 3 is 1. 18 divided by 3 is 6. So that's going to give me a smaller number. I'd rather work with 5 times 6 than work with 5 times 18. So even though we have to kind of stop and check to see if we can cross cancel, it's going to make our final answer easier for us to work with. So we definitely want to cross cancel. It makes our answer easier to work with. It gives us smaller numbers and we're less likely to make a mistake. So cross cancel as you go. So then we multiply like normal. Numerator times numerator. 5 times 6 is 30. Denominator times denominator. 1 times 7 is 7. Okay, so 37. 7 goes into 30 4 times. 4 times 7 is 28, and then I count up to 30. 28 plus 2 more gets me to 30. Okay, if that's a little too hard for you to kind of do in your head, that's okay. You can divide it out. This means 30 divided by 7. 30 divided by 7. Does 7 go into 3? No, so I can't write anything above the 3. Does 7 go into 30? Yes, it goes in 4 times. 4 times 7 is 28. 30 minus 28 is 2. We used to say remainder 2, but now we say 2 out of what were we dividing by? 7. So 4 and 2/7. Okay, same answer. This is a little more mental math. This is writing it out step by step, and I'm okay with either way. Whichever way you prefer, that's the way that I want you to do it. Okay, and then number 4, Melanie is training for a track meet. She ran 2¼ miles 5 times this week. How far did Melanie run this week? So she ran 2¼ miles, and she did that 5 times. So 2 1/4, 5 times. So we'll write this as an improper fraction. 4 times 2 is 8, plus the 1 in the numerator is 9. So 9/4 times 5 over 1. Okay. So then we check to see if we can cross cancel. 4 and 5 do not have any common factors. 1 is already as simplified as it can be. So then we just multiply. 9 times 5 is 45. 4 times 1 is 4. Okay. I know 4 times 11 is 44, so that's going to get me really close. So 11 times 4 is 44. Counting up to 45 is 1 more. So 11 and 1/4. Okay. If that's confusing to do it in your head, then do it as a division problem. 45 divided by 4. 45 divided by 4. 4 goes into 4 one time. 1 times 4 is 4. 4 minus 4 is 0. Bring down the 5. 4 goes into 5 one time. 1 times 4 is 4. Subtract. We get remainder 1. We used to say remainder 1, but now we say 1 out of, what were we dividing by? 4. So 11 and 1/4. Okay, same problem, different way to get that answer. And then number 5 is just a question about the process. So how do you multiply mixed numbers? So the first thing we will do is rewrite each mixed number as an improper fraction. So rewrite mixed numbers as improper fractions. So we just have a numerator denominator. Okay, and then number 2, we're going to cross cancel if possible. That gives us smaller numbers to work with. So number 1, remember anything I'm writing down, you're writing down. Rewrite mixed numbers as improper fractions. 2, cross cancel if possible. 3, multiply. And then in parentheses, I'm going to put n times n, which stands for numerator times numerator. That gives you your new numerator. And then D times D, denominator times denominator, gives you your new denominator to get numerator over denominator. And then number 4, that answer might need to be simplified. So like if I had 5/10, I would simplify that if possible. So step 4, simplify if possible. I'm going to write way down here at the bottom of the page, squeeze that in. Simplify if possible. Okay, so like if I had 5/10, I would simplify that as 1/2. All right. And then we would have our answer as either numerator over denominator as a proper fraction, or if it's an improper fraction, I would write it as a whole number, which is our unit, and numerator over denominator. Okay, so simplified either as an improper or as a proper fraction or as a mixed number. So in other words, like if I had 11/5, I wouldn't want to leave that as 11/5. I would write it as 2 1/5. Okay, so that is the guided practice on page 284, multiplying mixed numbers.